All right, folks, here you go. Brian Blessing in Las Vegas. Glad to be with you. BangTheBook.com. Tail end of the PGA season. We've made it to the FedEx Cup Playoffs, and the first playoff is contested in Jersey City, New Jersey. The Northern Trust, Bryson DeChambeau, 50-1. He's the defending champ here. Brooks Koepka has a massive lead in the FedEx Cup standings. He's on the board. He's on the board at 8-1. Honestly, just a monster every time he takes the course. But know this, he's got such a cushion. Players are going to have to be flag hunting here and know that points are quadrupled here. So a win is worth 2,000 points, and that gets someone right back in the equation. And then, of course, they reseed when you get to East Lake a few weeks down the road, and Brooks Koepka is going to get a head start, could have a couple of shot lead. A unique format here in the FedEx Cup Playoffs, but it's about making money in this one particular tournament. The one thing I would say, too, is that if you land on a player here, you should put a small play on that player to then win the FedEx Cup when you get to the deflated field of 30 at East Lake. So Koepka's the big favorite. You've got McIlroy 12-1. You don't see Dustin Johnson on the board too often anymore. At 16-1, can he resurrect his form here in the latter portions of the season? Jon Rahm, decent forms at 16-1. Rose, Cantley, Thomas, 20-1. It's amazing. I just look at this list and you realize just how deep the talent pool is and that anybody can step up and win. A guy I think could make some noise at 30-1 is Xander Schauffele, and he's 18-1 to win the FedEx Cup. There's a guy, he's just so consistent and steady, and it's been kind of a quiet summer for him. But a guy like Schauffele could get the hot hand. The other guy, Billy Horschel, always gets hot in the FedEx Cup Playoffs, and he's a monster price. You look at Horschel, he's on the board at 60-1. He just shows up for whatever reason. So know that Billy Horschel likely contends. I'll tell you, the guy I'm going to look long and hard at here because he's just so ultra consistent, but he's kicking the door down to win. It's been a while. But Francesco Molinari is on the board here at 40-1. And I can see Molinari, and he's 60-1 in the FedEx Cup. Now, if he wins this event and he gets to 2,000 points, he vaults all the way up, probably up to second in the FedEx Cup standing. So from that aspect, the strategy, played Molinari to win this event and put a small play on him to win the FedEx Cup. So he's a guy I'm going to look at. And I'll just throw a grenade at you, 250-1. How many times have you seen a golfer get into the field who was an alternate and then make some noise? We just saw the young lady from Japan win. She went over there. She had no idea. She thought it was a links course. Didn't even realize the kind of course it was. She wins the tournament. Go all the way back to John Daly when his career started in the PGA, where he was first alternate. He got in. He drove from Arkansas to Minnesota. He got in. Wins the thing. Andrew Landry, 250-1. Played himself into the FedEx Cup Playoffs this past week. It was the cutoff at 125. A lot of good players lost their PGA Tour cards. But Landry gets in. Guy's a good player. He's in decent form. 250-1, just on the premise that you always see somebody who sneaks their way into a tournament that ends up contending. I think Lashley was the same thing earlier this year. So grenade price for you there with Andrew Landry. But I'm going to go with Francesco Molinari. The other one to watch is Tiger Woods. Clearly, you see Tiger's on the board 30-1 here. The bottom line is this season's a free roll for him, having won the Masters. But in the main events that he had played, the weather was wet, cold, and dank. His body's just not holding up. But here in August, it's going to be hot, easier to loosen up, and Tiger will be motivated knowing if he gets to East Lake, he knows how to win on that course. It's a leap of faith that Tiger all of a sudden would resurrect his form, but stranger things to see Tiger on the board at 30-1. Molinari's going to be my top play as the FedEx Cup Playoffs begin with the Northern Trust Open in Jersey City, New Jersey. Always a treat to be with you at BangTheBook.com. We always invite you to check out our good friend Adam Burke with the Sports Betting Podcast. You can follow me at Brian Blessing and follow along right here on Twitter at BangTheBook.